Eric Dashner got an outstanding, and then I think, was it Shane, Ariana, and Isaiah got the all honorable mention,
mentions.
and then we had some shout outs too. I didn't get all those, so.
I think we
I haven't seen the thing. I just saw it off somebody's phone, so I don't have the actual.
So the ensemble acting performance and dance performance, and then the ensemble overall performance got honorable mention. The run crew got honorable mention. And then the individuals, Eric, Ariana, and Isaiah got honorable mention in a leading role. And then Shane got honorable mention in a supporting role. Outstanding in technical leadership was Chloe Kaiser and Kylie Williams. I can't read it. And then shout outs to Ava Apple, Les Powell, Derek Gustafson, Eli Rolfson, Claire Miller, ensemble vocal performance, and overall performance. So that was from the Spotlight Hennepin Theater Trust, but it was the Spotlight on Education.
So I just wanted to give a shout out on that. And then our metal sculpture got admitted to the walk. And then,
That's for the 8th year in a row. And then Shane Witt's got accepted in for a personal sculpture that he's done. So he was accepted into the sculpture walk also.
and then we had Mackenzie Westfall placed what at state? Did you have that?
64 out of
64th.
159.
I did announce the FFA awards at our last meeting, but I'll let you guys talk about that because you got them at your convention there. And then I also wanted to congratulate Dave Olson and Monica Erickson for, they're going to be our newest members of the school board. And then the Math League, JWP Math League is currently in second place out of 12 after the first round. And then just a thank you to the JWP FCCLA Halloween thing that they do every year, so. That was the list that some of
Yep,
it we had
I-
talked about on Friday, so.
And I've got one that it was a successful book fair through elementary conferences. So, does anybody have anything else?
I have one for a staff member that was recognized. We got an email from the, the Purpich Art Institute that comes down and looks at our CTE classes and our art classes and different things, and they just talked about how welcoming our school district is and how happy they were to see all the work we're doing. But they especially recognized Mike Dashner for being so welcoming. He was standing on the roof, and somebody asked him as he walked in, "What you're doing up there?" And so he started a conversation that lasted about 10 minutes, and then they went on their way. But they specifically put that in their email back to us. So thank you, Mike, for the work you do.
Okay. Anybody else? I don't know if we mentioned it last time, but Kylie got right? That's Kylie. We got the,
Oh, Kaylee Elliott.
Kaylee
Elliott.
Kaylee
Yes,
Elliott
Yes.
got
we
the
should.
Lifesaver
Lifesaving
Award from the Waseca Sheriff's Department. So,
Yeah.
anybody before we move on? Okay, we have resolution for accepting donations. We received, from Stacy Middlestead, we received arts and crafts supplies for student use. And Mary Wolf, we received dresses for costuming and musicals. So, do I have a motion to approve the resolution for accepting donations?
I'll make a motion to approve with many thanks to them.
Motion by Laura Sides, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh,
Second over fight, you can write down whichever one you want. Okay. So, all in favor,
It's
say
a
aye.
resolution.
Aye.
Oh, soup, it's a resolution.
Cahill?
Yes.
Zeiss?
Yes.
Elke?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Horn?
Yes.
Dashner?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Okay. Hopefully that's my only mess up tonight. On to reports and presentations. So the students are not here yet, so we will go to the superintendent report.
Just been busy around here. Lots of positive recognition, which is great. So I appreciate us doing that at our board meetings. Other stuff going on, we're wrapping up our audit for the year. We're waiting for our draft letter from Burkhart. And then a reminder that on December 2nd at our study session, we have our truth and taxation meeting. So in the high school, we're working on adding a few more classes. One would be an EMR, so an emergency responder class. That would actually take care of some of the first aid and first aid credit that the students would need also. So we would possibly be adding a ref certification class that the FIAD teachers have brought to Mr. Rysdam. And then we're doing some work with accelerated aviation to possibly start an aviation class here at JWP. In the elementary, conferences went very well. We had great parent participation like normal. A huge thank you to the Bulldog backers for the generous donation of food. And then a shout out to Kim Scott and Steph Watts for all their hard work on the book fair. That's a great way to encourage students to read over conferences, is having that book fair here for us. Then from the activities director, she's taking a couple groups of students on, tomorrow she's taking 8 juniors to the state leadership conference. Then on Wednesday, she's taking 9 sophomores to the Region 2A leadership conference. Numbers for winter sports, for cheerleading, we have 10. For girls basketball, 9th through 12th grade, we have 25. For junior high, we have, I think it's 9. For boys basketball, 9 through 12, we have 30. For junior high, we have 16. And then for wrestling, 7 through 12, we have 12 athletes
From here?
from here.
Okay.
So, musical was a huge success. Thanks for everyone who donated time items for the musical. Then community ed director, and Samantha will be talking after me, but some things she's been doing and learning a lot about community education is shadowing the TCU director, lots of insight about budgeting, programming, and made some connections with some other directors in the South Metro. Solar project is still on its way. We're waiting for the meter to get here, and then they'll finish the installation. And then softball fields and cleaning has been completed for the year. For staff development and the different things we've been doing with teaching and learning, first round of letters has been going well. We're into the second unit, so that's going good. We're going to be starting our English Language Arts curriculum review the beginning of December. With technology, we do have rhombus door access on E6 and N1 in the locker rooms, which is really nice because we can control them with our phones. Teachers have access that way also. And then we have a new projector in the auditorium. It's no longer on a post, it's right under the sound booth, so it's not in the way or anything any longer. It's a long throw projector that Adam got a really good deal on, so we were able to do that. And Mike Dashner and Aiden Demeray made the bracket to hold it up for us, so that was some savings there. Annika's been working on the STAR report that we have to submit at the end of the month. And then Laura mentioned the new school board members starting in January are Monica Erickson, Dave Olson, and then Laura Size is also starting her next term in January. So we're preparing for the Minnesota paid leave. That's in January 1st of 2026. So we're working on that. And then in the nurse's office, they're working on hearing and vision rescreening. The dental clinic saw 40 students last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that was in the auditorium. So kids come in and got their teeth cleaned, which was great. And then from health and safety, we had 2 bollards that have been placed in front of door S1. And then the life-saving award to Kaylee Elliott. So, been busy and lots of great things happening here at JWP.
Wonderful. Should we go back to the student report quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Unless you want to do the FFA thing while I get my notes.
Well, we have 2,
prepared.
We have other presentations.
we have 2 other ones,
Okay.
FFA and community ed.
Well, then I'll
Award.
go.
I do have a question. So
Yep.
you said it's a paramedic class that were,
Emergency
emergency
responder.
respond. So is that the one that, was there also going to be a firefighter one that,
Yes, they're looking at.
that's a
both
separate
as
one?
a separate,
Okay.
yes.
Has there been a lot of ask for that?
A little bit of ask for it. So David took it on and did some research on it. Now they're doing a student survey to find out how much interest there really is before they go any farther.
Mm-hmm.
And those would all be electives?
Those would be electives.
All right, back to the student report.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what Erler touched on, but 2 weekends ago or whatever it was, we had the musical Newsies. I think they all went very well.
We read off the awards that everybody got. so-
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So that took what I was gonna say. Basketball and wrestling has started. They just recently, like I think boys basketball and wrestling started today, and I believe girls started last week. Girls started last week.
I think cheerleading started today too, right?
Cheerleading.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was today too.
And then the only other thing I have is lunch has still been steadily going very well. Even like today's, at least I really enjoyed it, but I'm not having any complaints. They seem to
I
agree.
get some yeses and some of these.
I guess I'm open for questions. I don't really have much else.
Okay. Does anybody have questions for Eric?
Okay.
All right. We will move on to the Community Education Annual Report. So we invite Samantha to come up. Welcome.
Thank you. Is it on? Can you, no, I can't hear it? Oh, hi, live people. Okay. Good evening, esteemed members of the board. I'm excited for my first opportunity to officially introduce myself as the Community Ed Director for JWP. I want to take a moment and say I have thoroughly enjoyed all the learning I've had in this role over the past 4.5 months and look forward to many, many more. I'm here to talk to you about the annual report. And for those of you who don't know, this is just a report that each community education program that receives the general community education levy has to fill out every year just to keep the state up to date with what we're doing and making sure we're in check with everything. I only have 2 hands. So it starts out really basic. It's just information on who's filling out the report. It was me, and who is the community ed director. That was also me, and then where our school is. And then this is for last year. So this is, I'm reporting on technically the year that Lisa was community ed director. So this part just breaks down the fact that 100% of what I do is for community education and that we don't share community ed director with any other district. All of the general community education levy is allocated to youth programs. And then down below we have our community education advisory council. dates from last year, and Adam Haley very graciously stepped in as interim chairperson, so I could get this document filled out while I'm still currently building my advisory council. This part of the annual report just assures the state that we're doing all the things that we have to be doing. For example, you guys are employing as a district a appropriate licensed director, except for because we're a small enough district, I don't have to be licensed. However, I am pursuing my community ed license through Mankato, so that should be, if we grow as a district, then you'll have a licensed community ed director. So we are also utilizing an advisory council with different representation throughout the communities. We are also making sure that we're not duplicating any programs within our community ed department. Youth after school enrichment revenue received by the district is used appropriately. School-age childcare programs are implemented appropriately, and adult programming and adults with disabilities programs are not being subsidized by the general community education fund. This is a breakdown of different grades, ages of students that participated in community education courses last year. As I was filling this out, it became very apparent to me that we have to really amp up what we offer for middle school students. So that high school, the grades 9 through 12, this is mostly community ed, driver's ed. So I'd love to have more programming for them too. Really just more programming for everybody is my goal. So the next part just talks about many districts have the community ed director in charge of facility usage. So this is included in our annual report. This just breaks down how many outside organizations we're using our facilities and for how many hours, and then how many outside groups that aren't in the district are using, and that number was 0. So here I was able to jot down some highlights after being in the role for just a couple months, and so I did make sure to mention that there's a lot of staff turnover that happened last year. If I had had my head on straight when I made this, I also would have highlighted the really wonderful addition of the SAG wraparound program coordinator. Because I think with that position, that opens me up to do a lot more things that line up with the strategic plan that you guys made last year. So here we have our interim advisory council chairperson, myself and Jeremy Earler. We all took a look at it, made sure everything is as honest and truthful as we know it to be, and I submitted it 2 days before it was due. It was due November 1st, and I got it in on the 30th. So thank you. That's all I have. If you have questions, I probably have them too, but I will look into them and get back to you.
Does anybody have any questions for Samantha?
Do you have any ideas of any new things that you're thinking of putting out there that?
Any new ideas of things I'm
Yeah.
thinking of? Yes. There's a significant lack of, okay, I don't want to sound mean. There is a lack of, from what I've heard from parents and seen in our programs, we have a lot of really well-established association groups for different youth sports, and then of course our athletics. However, I've had lots of parents approach me for the preschool, kindergarten, first grade age of students as far as like Little League. I know Corey runs his summer programs, but there's just a lot of parents have been asking about expanding our offerings for like the super young kids. I got to sit down with the TCU director for a whole day on Thursday, and he put me in touch with his community education coordinator, and she does all the programming for their district, and so she gave me a lot of contacts, a lot of different ideas of what we can bring in here, and it was really nice talking to them because they're also a 3-city district. The difference is they have buildings in each one of their communities, and we only have the school in Janesville, but they talked about Rec on the Go, where they pile up a school vehicle and they maybe with soccer nets or soccer balls, and they drive out to one of their communities and they have Rec on the Go for an hour in the park where anybody in that community can just walk onto the park and partake in different activities that are planned for those times. So I thought that would be a really cool thing to start implementing this summer. Sorry, I need to slow down. I have a lot of ideas. Jeremy's heard a lot of them too. So.
Okay.
I would say one thing that they've implemented this year is Parents' Night Out, where
Oh, yeah.
the kids, parents can drop off their kids for a couple hours on a Friday night and go do what they want to do, and then they have different activities for those students to do here at school.
And how did that
Yeah. how'd
turn
that go?
out?
That turned out that turned out really, the parents loved it. They said, are we doing this every week? So we had our first one in October, and it was a huge success, and even more parents signed up for the one that happened this past Friday. And Savannah and I that was our combined brainchild, and originally we weren't going to plan one for December because the month is so short before winter break, and it's just such a busy season, but we had lots of parents saying, if you have one in December, I can go shopping. So we have one in December, and if we don't get enough kids, that's fine. It was an offering, but other than that, we have one planned every month.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming. All right, on to the FFA presentation.
All right, we are the JWP FFA, just a couple representatives. We have a couple of our officers with us.
I'm Monica Hermy.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Garrett Reinhardt. I'm the historian, so I make basically a scrapbook at the end of the year and I collect pictures for everyone.
I'm Maddie Lewick and I'm a committee member.
And then I'm a committee member as well.
I'm Evan Olson. I'm the treasurer. I just keep a record of all receipts that we get.
I'm Lillian Crowdy. I'm just a member of FFA.
I'm Ava McNair. I am the Sentinel.
I'm Autumn Thiessen. I'm also just a community member.
I'm Quinn Krause and I'm the student advisor.
I'm Ellie Morshin and I'm the president.
All right, so this is our 24-25 agenda. So there's a couple different little categories on here that I guess we'll walk through through the presentation, but here's just a glimpse.
So this year we have 64 members, and that's actually like an all-time high for us. And there's 10-member officer team. We have interviews with the alumni to get our positions, and we have to fill out an application too. So that's how we get that.
This year, the Minnesota Superior FFA chapter and Gold Rank chapter, we were given or awarded, and the 2024 National FFA 2-star chapter. And that's like the Gold Rank chapter. We've done like a certain amount of things and hit enough standards to reach that, which is pretty exciting that we're so involved.
And then, yeah, so for the 2024 National FFA 2-Star Chapter Award, we got presented it at National Convention in Indianapolis this past month, which was pretty cool. Speaking of National Convention, here's a couple pictures. So we got to do a lot of really fun stuff. So this is us at a honeybee farm. We got to learn about kind of the process and kind of a different side of agriculture. And then this was us at Ozarks Fisheries. So that's Ella, Madeline, and Annika with some crayfish. And then Sabrina got her American degree, which is actually really difficult to get. So that was kind of cool. And then there's all of us with the chapter award.
So we are very involved and we do a lot of community service. So over the summer we had a lot at Farm America, which kind of just involved like painting fences or helping with their fall festivals, just some stuff like that. And then we do lots of leadership days, or at least we did over the summer. And then, what are these other pictures? I can't see them. Oh, mulch at our school.
During the summer, we got the opportunity to take the flower beds and weed all of them, which was really cool, and we had a really good time doing that. And we also got to work with the SAC kids and getting them a little bit more insight on agriculture. And it was really cool to see how much they already knew and see them learn a little bit more. And we also got to go out and help Farm America, and we actually got invited out again a couple different times over the summer.
I'll go on meetings. We have monthly meetings, one for our 7th and 8th grade, and then one for 9 and 12, because we just have too many people to have everyone together. In the junior high can get kind of wild, and we do like fun activities, and we just can't have that many people. But this year we implemented having themes for each meeting, so I think that's the Halloween one. It was our October meeting around Halloween, and so a few people dressed up, and that's also a picture of like Halloween games that we played. And pretty much I think if you dress up, you can win a prize, and so that I think encourages a lot of people to get more involved in our meetings and show up and play the games or do whatever we had planned.
All right, and then I can kind of touch on the competitions a little bit. So on Friday, there was 11 of us that went to South Central to compete in a couple of competitions. So Eric Dashner did like career and interview skills, and then Maya Olson did Creed, and I did extemporaneous speaking. So in December, I'll be going to state for that because I got first in the division. So yeah. And so let's touch on Lily's part.
So Lily was one of our members who went to state fair this year. She decided to show her goat Fern, and then, yep, that just involves showing an animal. And then Maddie and I also went to the state fair and did a presentation on the importance of education. Does Maddie want to touch on that?
We did our presentation on the importance of agriculture education in the youth because we believe that is important to get them to understand why people do what they do, and that also like touches on what we did over the summer. We came in once a month at least, and we worked with our SAC wraparound group to kind of like form and create bonds with them, and also we do the barnyard with them to do the same.
And then we went to the barnyard, which is like a group of 3 different schools where we do shifts of like 1 to 2 hours where you like show some of the animals that have been brought in, and like yeah, it's always cool to see like what the kids have to say about like the cows and stuff, and then like working shifts involves like cleaning up after and just showing what it is to everyone.
That's it.
All right.
Any questions?
I just want to point out that out of the 5 judges that judged Sophie, she got a perfect score from one of them. So I just want to highlight that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And good luck at state, too.
Yes, good luck.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Does anybody, did you have more to say?
I was just gonna say that in January, we're planning on doing our donkey basketball. February?
Yep.
Wrong month. It's okay. In February, we're planning on doing our donkey basketball, which we haven't done since 2 years ago, I think. But that's super fun, and we get old community members to come in and compete, and it's a lot of fun.
I saw the Facebook post that you guys are still looking for teams.
Yep.
So,
Did you want to ride?
no. Does anybody have any questions for any of the students?
Great job, you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, on to budget information, enrollment update.
If you look at the enrollment numbers, they're going back up where we were, not quite to where we were at the beginning of the year. Excuse me, but we are up 4 students from where we were last month. So we do know that these numbers do move around quite a bit. We do understand that when we budget for each year also. So we do a good job budgeting conservatively when it comes to our enrollment numbers.
Any questions on that? Okay, we'll move on to the historical cash balances. Wendy, do you have?
Just kind of highlights the federal funding we're not getting any more from COVID, so, but no concerns really.
All right, any questions on that? Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Is any committees met?
No.
Okay, then we will go on to the consent agenda. Is there anything that anybody wants removed from the consent agenda? Okay, if not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Kevin Bourne, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Size. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Any updates on the strategic plan?
Strategic plan, we're just doing what we've been doing with the letters training. We have special work that our PLCs in the high school are doing on accommodations and modifications with their students. It's all going very well, and it goes along with the student growth, achievement, and support. With communication, finishing up the audit, making sure that we're being responsible with taxpayer dollars is a great thing, and we're starting to work on and look at a newsletter for end of January, beginning of February timeframe.
Newsletter out to community?
Yes, out to community.
Perfect.
A one-page, just kind of an update on where we are as a school and how things are going.
Any questions on the progress? Okay. Old business, doesn't look like we have any old business to discuss. So we will go on to new business. So we have to approve a resolution authorizing issuance of certificates and other duties.
Annika, do you want to talk about this?
Yes. So this just authorizes the clerk to execute the certificates of election for the new board members.
Okay.
I would make a motion to approve.
Motion by Kevin Bourne. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. And it's a resolution?
Elke,
Yes.
Cahill,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Sice,
Yes.
Bourne,
Yes.
Dashner.
Yes. Okay, the next thing is the first reading of some policies with non-substantial changes. These are, again, still from the list of the changes in the legislature, and then some just legal wording changes. Does anybody have any questions on any of those? Did you see any concerns with them as you read through them?
They weren't like till
No, they weren't.
Oh, they
later,
weren't- yeah,
so
that's
I didn't
right.
get a
Yep.
chance to read
So
Okay.
we'll
so,
put them on the next
yeah.
month's agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have the first reading of the following policies that have substantial changes. Let me go into one. These are ones that were, I don't have access to the 503 one, so I don't.
Yeah,
Does,
okay.
does anybody check?
I
don't have
I didn't have
I
access.
requested it, but I
I
don't
did
know if
too.
I got it yet.
Yeah, you should have yesterday. I'll make
Nope,
sure everybody.
I still don't have it.
Okay. I'll make sure everybody has access to it, but one question I did get was, does this match the same procedure that they're using with the activities handbook? And yes, it does. David and Nikki went through it Friday together to make sure everything was aligned, and it is within the policy. So it'll take 3 readings to get through this. So we will make sure that you have access to it.
Any questions on that one, if you had access to read it?
I assume that also involves like a Janice
Yes.
Peterson.
There was a whole committee, the social workers, the school nurse, Janice Peterson.
All those affected by attendance.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
I did request it, so I did have a chance to look at it, and I was looking like under excused absences as far as makeup work, it says up to the teacher, I believe. So what if one teacher said, well, you had access to it on Google Classroom, you should have it done right? I mean, well, I don't know. I just feel like that could be an issue, and it should be more of a, maybe something that is consistent, just because, I don't know, maybe a student can talk on, or speak on that too. I don't know how it typically, with makeup work when you're gone, how that works, but it can be a source of frustration for both student and teacher at times.
Yes.
So,
Usually, like, it's up to the, at least from my standpoint, if they know they're gonna be gone for something, it's their responsibility to like ask for the work and be able to do it on time or get a extension for it. But if it's something that they can't plan for, like a sickness or anything, then the teacher should be able to accommodate for that. And then just a question, if I could get a small summary of like, what are the changes being made?
There's a lot of changes being made.
Okay.
it's a lot of red.
Yeah, there's a lot. If you were to go through this, there's a lot of red.
Okay. I will say with the new scheduling, having 3 minutes to go from one class to another, it does get tight at points, especially if people are having to go to their lockers between it, where if I had, a class up on the 3rd floor, but I had math next hour, I'd have to go down all the way to my basement floor locker, grab my book, and then go back up and all of that. And even like with the large crowds leaving lunch too, just one time the bell rang, I walked from the lunchroom to my advisory, and I got marked tardy just because I didn't get there on time, because there was a huge pileup of people and all of that.
What, is there a change in the time between classes this year?
Before last year, it was 4 minutes. And I think at one
Last
point
year-
it was 5, which was crazy,
Yeah,
but
last year and this year, it's been 3 minutes.
Okay.
But as far as like reporting tardies, it's only if you're tardy to the start of the school day that it's handled by,
Attendance.
yeah, where tardiness between periods is on Infinite Campus, but that's handled by the teacher.
yeah. I got marked tardy from advisory because I showed up at 1:14 instead of 1:13.
So I don't know, is there a way in Infinite Campus to pull a report to see who got marked tardy and then who got it taken away because they couldn't make it there, or I don't know how?
Yeah, we can pull.
I don't know how you
reports.
would actually measure
Well,
that.
it's just a
Yeah.
record for the teacher.
It's just
so
a
it's
record
not,
for the
like,
teacher.
something that would-
It's not,
It's not reported anywhere.
No.
no. So they're looking for trends. Is it the same person that's tardy every day?
Got
and
it.
everything, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see where that might be tough if somebody's gotta go to the bathroom too, that.
But if they go to
Could
class
take
and
some
say, I need to use the bathroom, at least check in with them and then go use the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
But, no, that's a good point you brought up, Joni, about the absence makeup work.
Do you know what yours is at New Richland? Like, what that part of your policy says? Offhand? I'm sure you don't have it all memorized, but.
So when I'm looking at just comparing the two things that's in here with the daily attendance in the handbook, I do feel like there's some discrepancy. It says you cannot participate in any activity if you're absent for more than 10 minutes. They'll only be excused for school-related functions, family emergencies, funerals, and doctor's appointments, but a note has to come with the doctor appointment. It doesn't mention anything about 10 minutes tardy in the school policy.
Okay.
So I would say that would be, and it only says unexcused absences, so in the school policy, unexcused absences, but then up above it gives all the reasons why, like a parent could call in and say, my kid was not feeling good this morning, they'll be back later. So I'm not sure. You have to just put more specific thing from what she has in the activities handbook into this. I don't know.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Do we have two separate policies for general attendance and then one for activities? That, because they don't have to coincide, because the activity one could be a more stringent, you know what I mean? Because you've had it in the past where we've had parents call in, my student isn't feeling well because they got home late from an activity and they come in 2 hours, but that was never disciplined. Well, I think that's why.
Now it is.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking, do we have two separate policies? One for attendance, to be able to participate in activities, no matter what that activity is, or club or whatever, compared to general attendance policy.
No, we don't.
It's like there's a separate little section D in the policy. It
Mhm. That
refers
talks
to
about it.
activities.
Okay, so it's in that policy, but it's a separate, I didn't get a
Yep,
chance to
but it
look at
doesn't-
it,
yeah,
so.
it just doesn't say some of the things that she talked about in the
Okay.
meeting about the 10 minutes late and I don't know, like, if a student has car trouble in the morning or if they go in the ditch in the winter, if they're more than 10 minutes late and a parent says they're in the ditch, according to what is in the student handbook, or the handbook for activities, they would not be able to even practice that day.
And they would need a doctor's note.
They would have to, yeah, but you wouldn't go to a doctor for
Right.
going in the ditch or
Right.
having
Right.
car trouble that morning, so
Right.
they only have 10 minutes. But I think here it says 15 minutes late to be I don't know. Yeah, I have to read it closer, but, so, it just seems, they just have to, whatever it is, it just has to be the same. I think.
Consistent, yep.
Yeah, like, just whatever's decided, take and put it right into her handbook, or take whatever she has in her handbook and paste it into here, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know.
And were there some goals and objectives that we were trying to improve upon from past, other than having one policy?
Well, just that consistency between them.
Understand?
So we want that. And the biggest thing is we want kids here at school. So we don't want, we know that they'll get home late from sporting events and everything. And parents would allow them to miss the first half of the day. Well, that isn't, we're here to educate. We need them here at school in order to educate, so.
Okay.
They just want to keep everything consistent and so it doesn't matter if the parent looks at the attendance policy or the activities handbook, they're both gonna say the same thing.
Okay. And is detention an option?
There's some lunch detention that's,
So that's what it's referring to, is lunch detention?
yes, that's what.
Consequences of tardiness may
Yes.
include one
Yep.
detention? That would
Yep.
be during lunch?
During lunchtime.
Okay.
Because are your biggest offenders kids that are involved in activities, or is it more kids that you really don't have a consequence because they're not involved with with attendance, do you suppose? It seems like they tried to address some of that too, trying to,
Address,
yeah, like
try and make it work for
all of the tardies and absences overall, but I'm just not sure
Right.
where the biggest attendance problem lies. Is it more with non-participants in activities? There's not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot you
They
can
can't
do,
do
which
anything
is
wrong.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason the lunch
Mhm.
detention is in there. But I think a lot of it is just bringing some consistency to it, because you used to look and there was 3 different spots you could look and have 3 different,
Yep.
get information that wasn't the same, so everybody's confused.
Yes.
And Janice is looking at one thing, and then the parent's looking at something different, so.
Yep.
um,
I think this
Just
will
trying to
help.
shore everything up, so we have one spot to go to.
Was part of the goal too for the staff to consistently take attendance as well?
Yes.
Because was that something that was kind of
That's-
hit or miss?
Yes, and that's a big push right now is,
And this will help
Yep.
address that too.
yep,
And part of that is the safety too, right? With
Yep.
the, like, if something were to happen, everybody knows who's where and in what class and,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
and there's communication between Janice and Nikki every day of, okay, who's been more than 10 minutes tardy? Do we have a doctor's note? Don't we have a doctor's note? And then Nikki meets with those students.
So yeah, I think that would just be the only thing is if they're more than 10 minutes late, but they didn't go to the doctor.
Yep.
Is that the, I mean,
Yeah.
those, it
There
says the
can-
only thing is a family emergency doctor or
And for example,
a
if
funeral.
if a student gets gets chronic migraines and stuff, they can have one doctor's order that says they're having a migraine, that's an excuse from school.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying
So-
they don't need to come,
They
get a
don't need to
doctor
go to
note
the
every
doctor
time, then,
every
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Because that would be a huge burden on families also,
Yeah.
so.
So would going in the ditch be a family emergency?
Yeah, that, you bring up a good point there, especially living in Minnesota. A lot of these kids drive.
Well, they do have natural disaster, family emergency in parentheses on this policy. Would that be a natural disaster if the roads are bad? I don't know.
It's a stretch, but yeah.
Well, some of us think snow is a natural disaster,
Right.
because we don't want to see
I
it.
mean, you could have it, but then how do you?
Where do you draw the line?
Where do you say, do you have to have a tow receipt to be, that you got pulled out of the ditch, that you paid AAA towing? Or nope, dad just came or mom came and pulled me out, well, then how do you, and I'm not saying I disagree, I'm just saying how do
How do you
you
prove it?
regulate it so it's fair for everybody, cause there's plenty of times that when we were younger, we didn't call to get pulled out of the ditch.
Right.
You didn't wanna get yelled at, so somebody pulled you out and you were maybe late, but
If you have a college visit or some of the other things that are approved, those would not be approved for sports then?
Yeah,
Like
they're
a family.
But it doesn't, that's just it, it doesn't say it, so.
Like if you had one in the morning and then.
Yeah, that's where
How
I'm
does
saying,
one do
like,
that?
it just has to be the same, I think. Yeah. I think so.
College visits on here for up to 3 per year with signed verification.
That's in our attendance
Not in
policy,
the handbook.
but not in Nikki's handbook.
Okay,
So that's what I'm not so sure, if Janice counts it as an excused absence, and it's for any other reason other than, I don't know how it's gonna work,
I'll ask Janice about the coding of it.
yeah.
She
Like,
did
I'm
ask me
thinking-
about it.
Yeah, like, what if, yeah, I don't know.
So kind of back to what Tim was asking, being 2 separate, is there a reason we have the excerpt in the handbook, or can we just link to the policy and it covers it? Like, why is there just a piece of it in the activities one?
I don't know why there's the activities one was done prior to this one being done. So they have been separate. Now they're just working on bringing everything together.
Would it just be easier to link to it then, instead of
Possibly,
trying to
yeah.
copy and make sure everything stays the
You
same?
only have one document to update.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think, like Joni said, if you, as long as you get it so that everything is, whether it's one document, linked, whatever, as long as it's consistent, so the students and the parents, know this is what is expected, there's no, there's always gonna be a little bit of gray area, but try to eliminate as much as possible,
Right.
so.
questions, comments?
I'll get answers and see if we can't do a link or make sure it's consistent between the two.
The next policy, I think, is the one, Kevin, that you had talked about at our last meeting or the meeting before.
I apologize, I never got back to Jeremy as to which one that was. I didn't go to my notes to see, but I
And-
believe you're right that that's the
And this is
one.
one that they had updated, so.
Just this year, correct? In
Yep.
like August?
Yeah, we updated it in
In 20.
January of '23, and then they did a new update, and their newest update that we looked at the other day is way different than what the previous policy was.
Mhm.
So, we're just looking at adopting their new policy. It has all of the stuff that the old one had.
Right.
However, it just seems to be more streamlined now. There's still something I need to add to it, because Sherry sent it to me when I was in the deer stand and I couldn't do it from the deer stand.
So any questions or comments on that one?
That wasn't linked either, so,
No, it wasn't linked until this afternoon.
yeah.
No.
The only one was the student attendance one, but we didn't have access to it.
Okay. Alrighty, well, then it's a good thing that it's the first reading.
Right.
We have other ones. So, for upcoming meetings, there is a finance and operations meeting following this one. December 2nd at 5:30 is a school board study session. And then at 6 o'clock that same day, we'll do the truth and taxation hearing. December 16th at 5:30 is a regular school board meeting. And then January 6th is the organizational board meeting where we will have our new elected members there. So with that, I will adjourn.
6:25.
It's 6:24. Mine says 6:24. Oh,